I rise to appeal the ruling of the chair. The proposed amendment is germane to the bill at hand because the bill at hand relates to inspections for private passenger automobiles. The amendment before us repeals the fee that private passenger automobiles face as they travel back and forth from outside of Lower Manhattan, including from the outer boroughs and suburbs of New York City, and also provides increased transparency in public transit. You know, Mr. President, I've heard often from members in this body who voted for congestion pricing and say that it was inserted into the budget and therefore they had no choice. You know, I believe we always have the opportunity to oppose bad legislation. Well, here's the choice. By supporting this amendment, we have the opportunity to correct the mistake and help constituents back home. And I urge all of my colleagues to take this opportunity, especially as the state has a multi-billion-dollar surplus. The amendment that I proposed is one of the solutions to the affordability crisis here in New York. Millions of New Yorkers commute to their jobs in the city every day and are forced to pay a tax just to get to work. Instead of taxing workers, we should be focusing on the longer-term solution: quality public transportation. That is why the other part of this amendment brings sunshine and transparency to the MTA so that the riders who use it are getting the best possible service at an affordable cost. Congestion pricing is expected to cost hardworking New Yorkers over $1 billion a year, something they simply can't afford. And Mr. President, make no mistake, this is a tax on workers and on the middle class. A teacher making $65,000 a year driving back and forth could be paying an extra $100 a week just to get to work. When prices at the grocery store are at an all-time high and congestion pricing taxes not only commuters, but the very trucks that deliver our food, putting further pressure on what people are paying at the grocery store. Congestion pricing is not something New Yorkers can afford, and that is why it must be repealed. The real answer, Mr. President, to traffic and air pollution isn't taxing drivers, but providing better public transit. That is why it is critical to ensure that the city's public transit system is using taxpayer dollars wisely and delivering the most efficient service possible. This amendment calls for an independent audit of the MTA to shine a light on how it is spending New Yorkers' hard-earned money and identifying areas where savings can be passed on to the people of New York State. For years, Mr. President, the MTA has operated with deficits and needing cash injections from the legislature. Even with all of that money, we still hear from thousands of commuters who complain of subpar service. We, each of us, have a responsibility to our residents to ensure that money is spent responsibly, and it is vital that we take that responsibility seriously. As we continue to come to work every day facing a budget that is almost a month late and the latest in 13 years, we appear to be getting no closer to a deal. So we cannot ignore the relief that New Yorkers need. This amendment would provide just that. For these reasons, Mr. President, I strongly urge you to reconsider your ruling.